Awesome. And we're live here now on the Athletes Podcast with professional soccer player Henrik Regitnig, who's currently playing in Austria. Guy's a stud. Welcome to the Athletes Podcast.
Thanks for having me.
It's been a while. I've been trying to get you on for a couple of weeks now. After you signed, I knew we had to get you on, sort of talk to you about the process. You posted a YouTube video that kind of showcased the journey that it's taken for you, 15 clubs you've signed up with, trained with, etc. Tell us what it feels like now to have your first pro contract signed.
It's been a journey to say the least, for sure. But it's been my dream ever since I was a kid to actually play professional football. I'm gonna call it football just because if you're calling it soccer in Europe, you're gonna get roasted. As I learned way back when I was 16, 17. But now
Really?
It's been no, of course they don't appreciate that. But no, it's been a big relief to actually finally get that, elusive contract that's seemed to been a bit of a struggle, but at the end of the day, I ended up getting it done, and this is the beginning of something new.
Dude, how many trips have you taken back and forth from Europe to Vancouver over this 15 team span?
Yeah. So it's been over like 4 to 5 years that I've been back and forth. I'd normally be in the summer times that it would be because the summer window is when a lot of players are moving around and clubs are looking to sign players. And so honestly, if I really think about it, but it's been a good probably six round trips, basically staying there for a month or 3 months, whatnot. And it's been, over the last 4 or 5 years, it's been, a good 6-7 trips back and forth.
Ridiculous. The amount of time spent traveling, I'm sure, has taken a bit of a toll on your body. How does it feel now? So what's the team you're currently with? What's that team like? Give us a bit of details on that now that you're over there finally.
Yeah, so I'm with FC Pinzgau in Austria. They recently got in contact with my agent back in the summertime, but I was already over in England and everything. So we let that go, and then in the wintertime they got back in contact with me, and so it just so happened that it lined up for me. And they are in technically the third tier of Austrian football right now, but it looks as though it's an automatic promotion to the second tier, which is, a big, great step in the right direction. And it would look like a great opportunity for myself to get games, as I'm still a relatively young goalkeeper that, looking to get, need matches in Europe, and this seemed like a great place to do so. And the manager his name's Christian Ziege, and he was a baller back in his day, German international, Bayern, Liverpool, Tottenham. So he's been a great person to work with so far, and looks like a promising situation for sure.
Yeah, that sounds like you've got the right environment then to prosper moving forward. You go from having tryouts younger with these football clubs, Crystal Palace, Aston Villa, to name a couple, that were kind of those initial clubs that you tried to get in connection with, and that kind of fell throughout the ways. What was it like? What's the difference between those very prestigious clubs compared to the last couple you've been with?
I went to Aston Villa, Crystal Palace. They were both in Premier League, and then Ipswich Town at that time when I went to England, and that was when I was 17. First time I've been overseas. First time being in English football. Everybody, regards Premier League as definitely one of, if not the top league in the world. So me stepping in there with basically no experience from Canada, nobody, really respects Canada in terms of a footballing nation, that's for sure, when you're over there. So I would usually, just pull the Swedish card, because they would, they off the bat, they would just respect you a little more, because they're, okay, yes, you're Swedish, no problem.
You got the perks of being a dual citizen. That's clutch.
My family's Swedish, so I got that Swedish passport. But I was a huge step and huge difference, and like just the level of play, the quickness, the speed of play, and all that. And so that compared to say coming in, because I've been in Sweden, Finland, Denmark, it's definitely a bit different, but it's still still football at the end of the day, and there's still it's still a professional game, and people all around the world are grinding, training like that, and getting the work done. So it doesn't really matter where you go. The level's always, you know, definitely up to par. But yeah, there is the differences between the different leagues and all that. But yeah,
So how does it compare? Because you spent some time. We met in high school. That's how we know each
yeah,
other. Good old Earl Marriott secondary. Shout out to the Mariners. We played basketball together. You were just a freak athlete then for the 4 games you played for us because you just had to go back and forth to Europe.
yeah,
So you went down and played university, played a couple of years in Kansas, then down to LA. What was that experience
yeah,
like? The North American versus European football, I should
yeah.
say.
Yeah, I mean, cause yeah, after I come back from Aston Villa, Crystal Palace, I decided to go the whole college route because I didn't really know anything else. I didn't have any more connections overseas, so that seemed like the best option to keep playing. And so I was pretty late in terms of the recruiting process. So I was just going with whatever I could get the most money to cover my schooling, basically, because I definitely couldn't afford paying 30, 40K a year like some of the institutions down there, which is, you know, pretty wild to say the least. But so I ended up going to Kansas City, you know, not doing too much, but getting the foot in the door for the Division 1 soccer down there. And after the first year, I knew I wanted to get out, but I just wasn't getting game time, wasn't doing much. So I was just training, grinding, do whatever I could, and then ended up being able to transfer to LA, and that's where I really flourished, and that's where my journey really began to be getting into the professional game. But as far as college soccer, there, it's yeah, I mean, it's not great, of course. Like the whole North American game is quite a bit behind from European game, but it is growing and it's getting better. But yeah, the whole college game was more of just a step in the right direction and a step for me to give myself some time to really step into my game and grow as an athlete and a player and grow my mindset and everything, get myself ready for the professional game, basically.
It's kind of interesting how the both North America and Europe are kind of opposites as far as the sports of hockey
Yeah.
and
Mm.
football, soccer, North American. But
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
obviously, the hockey in North America is way more advanced than it is over in Europe, and vice versa for football.
yeah.
Little interesting note there. Jordan, producer for the podcast, got a question. As a goalie, what are some of the
Mhm.
key drills, exercises that are done in team practices? And then as well, what are you doing on the side to really flourish your game as a goalie?
Yeah, so as a goalkeeper, yeah, like focusing a lot on explosive plyometrics, all that. So, and in the teams, you are blessed with being able to work with a goalkeeper coach. So you're always being one on one with an actual coach. You have the manager up above that, but in training sessions, most sessions, I'm with the goalkeeper coach for a good 40 minutes to an hour, and then doing some stuff with the whole team for another 45 minutes or so. So training with them, being able to train with the goalkeeper coach is, you know, obviously a really big benefit for goalkeepers, as you're, you know, they know what's going on, they know exactly, you know, what you're going through and all that. So it's really about just yeah, doing explosive, you know, hands, all that, you know, working with your feet because you know still got to play football at the end of the day. Um, but no, it's just been it's just a lot of work with them, and then yeah, mental side, you know, visualization. I do a lot of yeah, meditation, video. What like I always watch a certain video before I go to games, go out to train, just to get myself mentally prepared,
Oh,
as it
the
is a lot
video.
mentally. So, huh?
What's the video?
Okay, so my favorite goalkeeper growing up was always Joe Hart, and so that's why my favorite club is Manchester City. And
Okay.
so I mean, he was a baller for a number of years, and then kind of fell off the wagon a bit now, but he's always been my like the one I've looked to that I see similarities. Like I've always tried to, you know, mimic for me growing up, basically. And so he won the Golden Glove Award in 2015-16 season. So I always watch the highlights from that season. Basically, it's always the same video. I mean, it just yeah. I mean, yeah, I've worked with a lot of sports psychologists back in college because we had those resources available to us. So I would always use that, and yeah, they always said, "Oh yeah, that's a great thing to be doing," and so I've always maintained doing that basically.
Damn, that's cool. So you're not trying to emulate the fact that they're not going to be in the Premier League for the next 2 years, then, right?
Nah, the Champions League, yeah, they
Champions.
just
What do
got
I
that
know?
fat bad, yeah. Nah, yeah. I mean, we'll see if that holds up. I know they're lawyering up, but yeah, that'd be a big loss for sure. I
So
don't think,
you,
yeah,
well, go ahead.
no, I don't think Pep Guardiola will stay around if that comes through, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's a tough hit. So you had some serious success down at CSUN in California. Uh, Twice you were goalkeeper of the year. You had like
Mm.
freaking months on end where you were defensive player of the week. What what was it like when you were dominating down there for such an extended period of time, and then you get to that point where you've got agents left, right, and center telling you you're going to be drafted in the MLS draft, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
The draft time comes around and you don't get drafted because they tell you you're international and they
yeah.
don't want to take up two spots. Like, how does that? That's got to be a roller coaster of emotions going through that.
Yeah, but I mean, luckily I had already been through, a numerous amount of trials over in Europe, so I'd already kind of gone through the process of, the whirlwind of emotions that you go through, going through trials or going through these kind of, tough spots or whatnot. But yeah, at CSUN, I really found myself as a goalkeeper at UMKC, the first university I went to. The coach didn't really see myself as a player he wanted, basically, and that's just how it was. And so I knew I had to leave, and I knew I had a lot more to offer, and I knew that if I kept on training, kept on grinding, just put my head down, I knew I was going to get to where I wanted to be. It was just going to take some time. So once I hit CSUN, I just really hit the ground running, and the coach believed in me. And ever since I stepped foot on the ground there, it just everything kind of clicked, and it was a good environment for myself, and so I was just having fun with it, training, doing well. I was able to be dominant and do my thing out there, what I wanted to do and what I always saw myself doing, and then it came around to the agents coming around. That is a bit of I wouldn't say a great thing in the U.S. as far as when you're kind of a bigger player in the U.S. The agents just flock in, and I mean, agents are agents, and they're going to tell you what they can to get you signed, basically. So you really got to think of what they're saying with a grain of salt at all times, because I made sure. I mean, luckily I had my goalkeeper coach from Vancouver, and he was, pretty in touch with the whole situation, so I could talk to him about it. And then I really just, you just had to ask questions and questions and questions with them, and just feel them out, because at the end of the day, you just had to go with the gut feeling of which one you think is best suited for yourself, what you want to do ambitiously with your career, and if things line up, for that. And so I ended up, making a decision. But throughout that whole process, everything was just bombarded. I was training with a few MLS clubs here and there. They were all very, up on me, saying, "Yeah, no problem. You'll be there next season. The draft's going to come around. Like, you'll be top 10." That's what everybody was saying to me, basically. And then I came around to the draft that next season, and it just kind of fell apart, basically. They came back with saying, "Yeah, you're an international player." It's called a designated player spot for international players, because I'm not an American citizen. And so it just kind of fell through it. I was using that platform as be able to get drafted, and then that to boost my value overseas, so I could get back overseas, because my ambition has always been to play overseas and play at the highest level of European football. So I was using that as, a platform for myself to boost myself there. But it didn't end up working out that way. But at the end of the day, it was, a whirlwind of emotions for sure. But you just got
I
to go through it that times.
You mentioned at CSUN how much fun you guys had. That group of boys
Yeah,
that you guys had, I went down and visited you guys down in LA at one point. Holy Dinah, you guys just the 114 man Rockets did not
yeah.
ever posting pictures, lighting up DJ boosts, like
Yeah,
you name it, you guys were doing it.
yeah,
How much did that sort of support network help you in those difficult times? Because you talk so much and you talk openly on your YouTube channel about how it was tough mentally to have that constant rejection after
mm,
putting in all of that effort. What was that support network and how integral was it?
yeah. Shout out apartment 114 real quick with the 114 man Rockets. But we had a really good core group that like just wanted to do good things, and grow as a group and individually in our own paths, basically. And so that was a huge, of course, everybody always takes a village to raise a person kind of thing. And that's always a true statement, just because me being around them, we all, work together. And yeah, it was just a good, yeah, as you saw, it's a great group of guys. Just want to, have fun, but are serious, getting down to grind and everything. And yeah, being able to be open with all of them and just talking through everything, because we all have our, struggles, and mine were a bit different than some others. But yeah, it was always like, it's, yeah, amazing to have people that you can just talk to about that kind of situation. That's always going to make you feel better and feel more comfortable. And at the end of the day, that's just going to make you be a better player. For myself, as I was just in a comfortable position, I knew what I needed to do, and I knew how to do it because I had the people around me to support me, basically.
Yeah, and you go through all of this. You go through traveling across to Europe 6, 7, 8 times, whatever it is, and you're maintaining a 3.8 GPA. You're whatever. What engineering are you taking? And you're
Yeah,
just
mechanical engineering.
yeah, just on the side, low key, no big deal. Hey,
Yeah,
Rig,
nah,
if
yeah.
go
Because
ahead.
I mean, yeah, like I've always gone through my life so far and making sure I always had a plan B, basically. And going into, like, when I came back from England the first time when I was 17, going into college, I didn't really like, I knew I wanted to play professional football, but at the time I didn't really know how to do it. I just knew, okay, college was a good route, and I could get an education. And I was always interested in that side of the, science and math and all that. And so I thought, yeah, I'll do that, because I mean, that's a hell of a backup plan and a hell of a career with engineering. And so I just, yeah, went into college with that. And I've always, yeah, taken pride in being a hard worker. And so at school, I'll be doing and it taught me a lot as well, that I'm thankful for, because it's huge time management skills. I'd be training in the morning with the team, doing gym work, heading straight to class for a good 4 or 5 hours, coming back, hitting the library or doing my homework, and then doing some kind of extra work on the field or whatnot. So it was a full-time job, but yeah, I loved every minute of it, just because I enjoyed the school side of it, as well as playing every day and pushing to be where I wanted to be, basically.
It's impressive, and it's that kind of work ethic that shows that even after dealing with rejection from 14 clubs, you end up finding success one way or another, right? If you keep pushing.
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay, question. I'm a hockey goalie, so I get
Yeah.
penalty shots, occasionally. You get one-on-one, players got time, but a lot of people are under the assumption that a hockey goalie, it's much easier. You got a puck, you're covering 70% of the net, whatever it is.
Yeah.
As a goalkeeper in football,
Mhm.
you've got this massive net that you're trying to cover on a penalty shot. The guy's got ample room, left, right, center,
Yeah.
wherever he wants to go. What's the mindset that you take going into that kick, and what do you focus on?
Yeah.
Because you just look like you're at such a disadvantage.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it definitely looks that way. And if you're looking at statistics, yeah, you definitely would be at a disadvantage. But
What
but
are
at
the
the end
stats
of the
on
day,
Jordan, actually?
I honestly don't know. But players
Jordan's
should
looking
be
it
hitting
up.
players should be hitting 8 out of 10, like, no
Is that what
problem.
it
But
is? Yeah.
I'm not entirely sure.
What
But
do you?
no,
What is
like,
your goal then? Are you trying to get 4 out of 10 stopped, or do you
yeah,
have?
yeah. If you're hitting 50%, you're flying for sure. But myself going into it, I mean, I honestly love penalty shots, honestly, just because all the pressure's on them.
Yep.
Depends on the situation, but I always just kind of laugh at myself when they're lining up, because I know they're either shitting themselves, or they a lot of guys don't handle that kind of pressure well. And so I live for the fact that all the pressure's on them. If they miss, they're if they score on me, it's okay, but if I save it, I'm a hero, kind of thing. And it's a lot of just, yeah, making sure you can read a lot of players. Like, some players are just easy to read them like a book, and no problem, basically. But it is a lot about their stance, their run up, their shifting of weight. Like, it is a lot. Like, I've watched, I'm sure goalkeepers all around, or watch a lot of film on that aspect. And then you do get research on players previous, where they shot, where they do this and all that. But so it's I honestly I really enjoy them when I see them, but it's not really, you don't see them every day, obviously. But
Yeah,
it's a
it's not as common.
great situation. Yeah.
Jordan just found it's a range between 75 and 80% is
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
professional
Yeah.
leagues. That's
So I
what they're
expect.
scoring.
Yeah,
I honestly feel the exact same way as a hockey goalie, man. And that is
yeah,
the best shootouts or any
hmm,
penalty shot. I just loved it. I'd get so fired up
yeah,
because
yeah.
every opportunity to stop it. And, it's you against them, 1v1, mano a mano, and you just got to go for it.
Hmm. No, yeah.
uh,
And then you're the hero at the end of it, no problem.
Dude, I would never, it's going to be tough for me if there's ever a day where I can't be a goalie because I just
Yeah,
love,
yeah,
uh, you can't affect the score in a positive way most of the
yeah.
time, but you can certainly minimize the damage.
Yeah,
Uh,
like the whole aspect of the sport is for goals to happen, and you're the one that's got to be the bearer of bad news for all the players where you're making saves no problem kind of thing. So yeah, it's great feeling for sure.
do do football goalies still have the same? Is there that stigma attached that because obviously hockey goalies they're known to be a little crazy, a little nutty
Mhm.
off the block? Do football
Oh
goalies have
yeah,
the same kind of reputation?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, yeah. I think that's goalkeepers in every sport, every aspect, everything. I feel like yeah, every time I step into a team or like you see different like obviously I've ran into tons of different goalkeepers throughout my career so far, and yeah, no, I can definitely attest to it. And yeah, I would say more often than not they are a bit nutty. To be fair though, every team I've been with, they always tell me, "Oh, you're like the most normal goalkeeper I've met, honestly." And so I always take pride in that because
Dude, I'm the
I
same.
yeah, yeah, no, yeah.
I think
Oh yeah, Bruce.
I think we both rubbed off a lot on each other in Earl Marriott. Our two personalities were just very mellow goaltenders.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's what we're gonna
yeah,
stick
yeah.
with at least, right?
No, yeah. I mean, you have the moments where you're yelling at everybody, but like at the end of the day, it's just normal. Normal. I'm just chilling. I'm not one to be just kind of sporadic all over the place person. So I think people, appreciate that a little bit.
Yeah, exactly. And there's something to be said for having that cool, calm, collected uh,
Yeah,
presence as a goaltender, right? It's reassuring for your players that are up in front of you doing the heavy lifting to make sure that they know you're there and ready
yeah,
to stop the ball, puck, whatever it
yeah,
is.
for sure. Yeah,
So you, aside from the fact that you're an incredible goalkeeper, you also have a pretty well established physique, fitness.
mm.
You got your own Insta fitness page. We'll toss that up there. But what are you doing to constantly upgrade your athletic ability and your fitness? Because not only are you working on that goalkeeping side, but you've got this trying to improve athletically nonstop. How are you
yeah.
balancing the two?
Yeah, I mean, like, yeah. Once again, I'm always looking for places to better myself, and I think because at the end of the day, you got one life, you might as well live it to as the highest potential you can, and so I always take pride in doing everything I can to better myself. Yeah, on the pitch as well as in the gym, mentally, and all that. And so, luckily, I've been able to work with like quite a number of great strength coaches throughout college, throughout back in Vancouver and all that. So I've been able to take a lot of knowledge from them, and then also just yeah, browsing internet, YouTube, watching, following a lot of people that are well versed in that situation, and so I'm always looking to better myself. And throughout over the last year and a half, I had been having problems with my like hip/back, and so I'd been in and out of physio, so I've gotten a lot of tips in terms of mobility stuff that I've been able to implement into my everyday lifting and all that, and so that's helped a lot. But yeah, I'm always been trying to work on the plyometric explosive movements because as a goalkeeper, yeah, like you got to be milliseconds getting off the line or making top in saves, no problem kind of thing. So me being lengthy, a lot of people expect me to be slow kind of thing in that sense. But once you hit this kind of level, everybody that's you know around that height has the explosive power. So you're really just trying to up it every day of the week kind of thing, and just working with the explosive work and mentally and all that in the gym. So I've just been able to been trying to work that each day I can.
I remember it was it last Christmas we were back in BC and we went for
Yeah.
a workout and man, I feel small after working out with you. I don't normally feel short, but you had a couple inches on me. You're tossing around weights like it was no big deal. I was like, man, this guy's a soccer player, football, whatever. But
Yeah,
so you've also like, I believe you're celiac as well as you're
yeah,
now. Go into a bit about your diet here, what that looks like, because
yeah. Okay, okay. Yeah,
yeah, I think
yeah.
the listeners
So
are interested to hear.
yeah, so I've had celiac. I mean, my entire life, but I was only diagnosed in eighth grade, I believe. So it's been 9, 10 years now. I'm not entirely sure, but so celiac disease runs in my family. My brother, my sister has all my dad's side basically, and so celiac, yeah, you're gluten free. So I've been gluten free since eighth grade basically, and honestly, like it hasn't been a problem. No problem. Like it's definitely an easy way to be a little healthier, but I've always been, conscious eater of, what I'm putting in my body. But so that made it a, easy route to really eat healthy, no problem. And then so in the beginning it was a lot of, wasn't very good for gluten free back then because nobody really knew what it was, and it was took a long time. Like I couldn't really eat. Like whenever I'd go on trips for different sports I was playing, I would literally, I remember every time, because we'd go to like fast food place, I'd have to go to McDonald's, get a salad at McDonald's, and it was just absolute trash. But that was the only thing I could eat because
You're getting tricked
restaurants
from the
like at
boys.
that. Yeah. The girl at the till would be like, give me weird eye. I'd be like, what the hell are you ordering this for? Like, I've never seen somebody order this before. And then,
Do we even
so
have
yeah, like,
salad in the back, guys?
yeah, like restaurants didn't know what it was at that point. But yeah, 5, 6 years down the line, it got a lot better. And, people hopped on the train a bit. And, so it grew a lot in terms of gluten-free stuff and gluten-free options. So that's never really been a problem. But then, of course, I'm sure everybody knows about the Netflix documentary, The Game Changers. I ended up watching that when I was in England back in the summer, and the club I was at, like literally half the team started going vegan,
No
and
way.
everybody was just trying it. There was one vegan guy on the team at that point that had already been for a good year or so, and then one of my close friends that I train with back in Vancouver that works with the same goalkeeper coach, I'm sure he doesn't mind me talking about it, but he's been vegan for a good year or two, but he had uh, a form of cancer. Basically, his mom was like, "Nah, we're not doing like we're just changing your diet, no problem, fully vegan." And then within 6 months to the year, he was cancer free. So I was like, I bet,
Holy
like
shit.
that was a huge thing that like influenced me. And then watching that documentary, I was just like, I mean, yeah, can't hurt. Like I'll see how it feels, because obviously they talk a lot about. I mean, there's back and forth of the science behind it and all that, but I just wanted to see for myself in terms of what it made me feel like and whatnot, kind of thing. So I didn't end up going fully vegan until the 26th of December. So I'm just coming up on like 2 months now. But up until that point, I would throw in a vegan meal here and there in terms of that. And I was eating mostly plant-based before, but I'd have chicken or eggs. Like that was my main protein source for that. But once I, figured out, okay, I can do these kind of meals different, following different people that have great recipes. And so, yeah, I've been, vegan for just about 2 months now. And I'm not gonna lie, the first few weeks was a bit of a struggle. I think my body was just getting used to, heavier on the fiber and all that. Like, so I was, feeling bloated, so I was like, well, I don't know how this is gonna go, but I did, I was still hitting basically the same macros that I was, looking at before, because I did, track my macros relatively, so I'd, be hitting a certain amount of protein, a certain amount of calories, because I, wanted to maintain weight and put on a little muscle, or, here and there kind of thing. So I was still able to hit everything I was looking for. And then after, that few weeks, I think that, little trial period for my body, it just, it kind of clicked. And now I don't even really think about it, honestly. And I'm going to give myself the 2 months. That's what I always said. And then I'll see how I feel like moving forward. But honestly, I could see myself doing it for quite a long time. And athletically, I feel, I definitely feel the little bit more energized, and just waking up in the morning, I'm, not as kind of sludgy around a bit. And so, I mean, for me, it's been pretty good. So I did blood work at the beginning before I went vegan, and then I'm going to do blood work in a few weeks. So I'm curious about that for like cholesterol values and all that kind of stuff, because I know that's a huge part of it. Obviously, I was eating quite healthy before, so I don't expect it to be like a huge change. But it's always cool to see some numbers crunching that and all that. So, but no,
Yeah,
it's been a journey, but it's been a good one, honestly.
I follow along on your Insta stuff. My mouth always
Yeah.
drools a little when you post your next recipe. I I'm glad to hear you've also got the blood work done because I know that's a big thing. This month in January there's so many people starting that carnivore diet because of the
Oh
crazy
yeah,
whatever.
gosh,
Like,
yeah. So
and oh my god, I
that
don't know
one
how
hurts
the
me.
hell people are.
That
And
one
you've
really
got
hurts me, man.
dude. So, I mean, it's to each their own. I also think that freaking every single person is different, right? And
Oh yeah,
biologically,
100%,
we
hundred
are.
percent.
So, there's maybe people that run better off of certain types of fuel that is
Yeah,
the food that you're
100%.
consuming. So, I'm glad to hear your blood works. You were taking that and you're taking that seriously
Mm.
because it'll be interesting to see. You should share those results with us.
No,
Uh,
yeah, yeah, for sure.
yeah, it's cool. So we've got now, coming from North America, given that you were from a super small town in Vermeer, BC,
Mm.
shout out to the 50 people that are there. Uh,
Yeah, yeah. So it's all my friends back there because, yeah, no, it's a great place, but yeah, very small.
yeah. So do you think that North America is improving regarding sort of the development of football players that are born here? An example being Alphonso Davies, who's picked up by Bayern Munich from the Whitecaps, has 1 goal,
Yeah.
five assists in 24 games playing for the German team. Do
Mm.
you think that our North American football is catching up or the development is improving?
Yeah, like I would definitely say, yeah, it's improving, and it's came a long way. Like, I mean, I've only been around for the 20 years or so now. Like, and I was growing up through it, but so I didn't see too much in terms of just what I was experiencing. But it's definitely, yeah, getting a step in the right direction. The MLS as a whole, with like the U.S. and Canada, it's getting there and really pushing to, like, they obviously want, of course they Canada's national team, U.S. national team, they want to be better, of course. And so, yeah, and youth is always the answer for that aspect and for the future. And so, I would say, yeah, it definitely is getting a lot better for the major cities like Vancouver, Toronto, because they have the resources, they have the kind of outlook and outreach of all that. So with because there's the Whitecaps residency, that Montreal, Toronto, and all that. So that for sure is getting better. But yeah, like me coming from Invermere, like it was really only because of it was really only because of my first goalkeeper coach, and the coach, like, he was our main coach. He was a professional footballer in his day, playing in Germany for Stuttgart in the Bundesliga, which is the top tier of German football. So he was a huge impact on my upbringing, because without him, I doubt I'd be anything, honestly, just because he introduced it to me, gave me the basic knowledge of it all, and then basically said, "Now get out, because you're not going to get anywhere here." Because the small towns just don't have the resources, but it is getting better with the big cities kind of reaching out, because it is spreading a lot more with the leagues and all that. So there is a lot more exposure, of course, and of course, yeah, you see Alphonso Davies is a huge Canadian player right now, and balling in the top tier of world football, obviously. So he's a huge aspect of where Canadian football and North America football is going, basically.
It's crazy. I think 5-10 years down the road, you'll be one of those guys that people are looking at as well. Though it's
Yeah,
as much as it seems difficult now, and obviously the 5-6 years that it's taken for you to get over there have been frustrating to say the least. But
yeah,
I think the dedication and perseverance that you show is just fuel for the younger generation seeing what is possible coming from Invermere, where
no,
everyone
yeah,
knows everyone, and luck of the draw that you had a coach that was willing and had the knowledge behind him. But
yeah,
so before we started the podcast, you started talking about what it was like over there, sort of some of the perks that are associated with the signing over with this team. Tell me a little
yeah.
bit about some of the benefits you got. I heard you got a little whip. You're going in. You got a nice place to stay. They hook you up nicely, eh?
No, yeah, I mean, like, football in Europe is just it's the lifeline of Europe. Honestly, it's the biggest thing. So wherever you go, football is a huge part of that country and all that. So yeah, me coming over here, Yeah, you like it depends on where you're situated in terms of European countries in terms of what they give you or whatnot, and of course salary and all that. But so yeah, no, I like get an apartment, get a car. So I'm so it make myself in every aspect being able to work to what I want to be and perform for them, and also you get a salary of course and all that. So it's just and then hit the bonuses and whatnot. So you're definitely motivated to be doing everything you can to succeed. And of course, obviously, I want to be playing at the highest level in world football at the end of the day. So I'm going to be working every day to do that. And obviously, it's taken me the 5-6 years to finally get to this chapter in my life. But I think as of now, it's just hitting the ground running and just that it's up to me now in terms of like all the outside situations of they're going through the trials, contracts falling through. A lot of things were out of my control leading up to this point, but now it's up to me to push on and get to work and get grinding and just yeah, the sky's the limit with once you're over in Europe and just work every day to put yourself in that position to succeed basically.
Yeah, you've got now it's your opportunity to shine. You're over there, you got a contract. At least now you can just focus on playing ball, right? And your
Yeah,
I think your stats are going to show, your performances are going to show, and people are going to realize, oh, we probably shouldn't have slept on this guy for the past
yeah,
5 years.
no, that's
It's
that's
exciting.
definitely the goal.
It's exciting to see, man, and I'm really glad to hear that you got that opportunity over there. You're taking them full advantage of it. Is there
Mhm.
any sort of last comments that you want to give to maybe that young keeper that lives in Invermere, British Columbia, from Chippewa, Ontario, wherever it is, that some words of inspiration for that younger generation of Canadian, North American athletes that maybe still see a potential of moving forward?
Oh, yeah, 100%. Like, yeah, me coming from that's the whole reason why I made my YouTube video to show you can make it from anywhere. Like, I'm not coming from, some, yeah, tiny village in Brazil or whatnot, but those kind of stories happen because, Brazil is just a breeding ground for footballers, basically. But yeah, coming from a small town in the Rocky Mountains that's not known for football at all, coming out, that's like, yeah, coming out of a town that's, yeah, really 2,000 people at best, and just working on yourself. Like I always knew that putting in the work, having a great work ethic, having a great mindset, pushing through the barriers that come in front of you. Because at the end of the day, like it's just all about your mentality and how you go about it. And so me going on, yeah, 5-6 years of 15 different professional football trials, going through the last. I mean, if I'm being honest, the last year was the worst year of my life in terms of mentality or mentally, like struggling physically because my body was, just kind of falling apart at the seams for that part. But me going over to Europe for the 4 months, living in different Airbnbs, hopping from Airbnb to Airbnb. I living day to day because I just wake up, see what my agent's saying. If there's a opportunity coming up, I wake up, realize, oh, I got to do this again. Basically, go to the gym, try do whatever I can to get through the day, and you know every few days, week, I just break down mentally and just think about I'd really have to go back to the roots of like why I'm doing this, why I'm pushing this, because at the end of the day, I knew what I wanted to do. It was just things just seemed to not be lining up properly for whatever reason. There's different reasons that different clubs didn't sign me and different all that, but I just needed the right situation at the right club, and it was going to come eventually. And I'd already been in Europe, in England for 4 months, basically just living day to day, hopping from club to club. And so it was just a huge test mentally. But at the end of the day, if I don't go through that, then you don't grow as a person, as a player. And so it's a huge part of what myself moving forward is. And I know what I'm capable of and capable mentally. And so it's a huge thing for anybody out there growing up. I mean, the most cliche thing in the world, but like it's the most true because like anything is possible as long as you have the right mindset. Like I'm a huge law of attraction mindset kind of a person, and so it's always helped me at my kind of rock bottom in terms of how I want to move forward, because it's at the end of the day I always have that for myself in terms of mentally, and I know that I'll always be able to push through whatever comes my way. And at the end of the day, I was able to hit the contract eventually, and I know there's going to be a lot more for myself in store for football in the future.
Yeah, you couldn't have said it any better. You've been an inspiration to me. I'm sure you are an inspiration to many others, and I'm really excited to be able to have you on in the future and see where your career progresses and see how much of an impact you make over in Europe, because you
Uh,
certainly did in BC and LA. So we're looking forward to seeing more in the future. Again, really appreciate you coming on the Athletes Podcast, Henrik. We will post your social media links up on the YouTube page, get you a couple extra followers, And
love
but
that.
again, really appreciate you coming on, man, and hope you enjoy the rest of your day.
No, I really appreciate having me on, and I love what you guys are doing, spreading the word for all the athletes around the world, of course. So I mean, yeah, any day of the week, I'm all for it. So I appreciate it.
Sounds good, man. You take care. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, you too, brother.